What are the top 5 questions headed into the UWW World Championships? They get started September 13th, last all the way till September 21st, starting with men's freestyle, then women's freestyle, then finishing it off with Greco-Roman. These are my top 5 questions, but stay tuned to the end. I take a look at some of your top questions to hear what you're most excited about. Starting with number 5, these high schoolers, how can they do? Can they actually contend at the senior level? You've got Jax Forrest and PJ Duke, two guys who made the world team while in high school. They're going to be wrestling on the world's biggest stage, the Senior World Championships. Jax Forrest at 61 kilograms, PJ Duke at 70. And these guys have been ahead of schedule throughout their careers. But this is definitely a huge, huge step up. For my money, while I think they're both probably equally great in skill level, I think Jax is in a more navigable weight class than PJ. I think PJ's weight is just a little too deep. But you never know. These kids are getting good at such a rapid rate. You can't count either of them out. I certainly believe they're ready to win some matches at the senior level. PJ Duke's a U20 world champion. That's an absolute statement. And then Jax Forrest just beat Vito Arujau, the world ranked #1 guy. So there's no reason to have anything but optimism for those two guys. But that's one of my top questions headed into the World Championships. Number 4, who wins the weight of weights? You've got 3 Olympic champions, Ahmed Tajudinov, Kyle Snyder, and Abdulrashid Sajalayev. Now, that third name, Sajalayev, is one you know. He's an 8-time World Olympic champion. He's done everything there is to do. But he's got to get into the country. And right now, that's in question. If he doesn't get in, it kind of you lose a little bit of luster around this weight class where you could have had 3 Olympic champions along with some other world champions in the mix. But either way, Tajudinov, he's been the guy, 23 and 24. He's the pound for pound #1 in the world. We know Kyle Snyder has been on top 4 times in the past. Can he get back on top of the podium after failing to place for the first time in his entire senior level career? Or can Sajalayev get in the country and then knock out 2 Olympic champions in Snyder and Tajudinov? That's the number 4 question for me. Number 3 is Helen Maroulis, USA Wrestling GOAT of women's freestyle. Can she win her 5th world and Olympic title? She has been right there to get on top of the podium the last couple of years. Can she do it again? Can she come home with the gold? I believe she can. I think the way the weight is shaken out and just as well as she's been wrestling, she's seemingly ageless, right? Throughout her career, you haven't seen any level of drop off. She's just as good every single time out. I think this year she comes home with another gold medal. Number 2 is Spencer Lee gonna win the world title. And you look for Team USA, we had no world or Olympic champions last year. Spencer Lee was the closest, making the Olympic finals. And now with Rei Higuchi out of the mix, is it Spencer Lee's time? Is he gonna get that gold medal? Standing in his way, potentially another American, Roman Bravo Young, representing Team Mexico, a potential semifinal match. Many people think that could be the toughest matchup for Spencer Lee. And for him, is he the next flag carrier for Team USA? Is he the one that's going to be the Burrows or the Snyder, the Dake, that was really the leader of the team for Team USA? Is it now Spencer Lee's time? I believe that it will be. And then the number one question for me is, can Team USA contend with Russia and Iran and Japan? After all 3 of those teams beat us last year at the World and Olympic Championships, are we ready to get back and assert ourselves and show that we're still a top force in the world? That's what I'm excited about. Obviously, in 2024, many USA Wrestling fans freaked out about the emergence of Japan and wanted to learn so much about their system and feel like we should be taking from what they do. And I was, largely just pumping the brakes on that. While Japan is great, USA Wrestling is simply better than Japan. And I believe we're going to prove that at the World Championships in Croatia. But you don't know until it happens. Now, Iran, maybe on paper, could have the best team. But Russia is always such a threat. And really, Sajalayev being there or not being there is a huge, huge component of how well they're going to do. So can Team USA get on top? That is my number 1 question. Going to take a look at some of the questions you sent me when I asked this question. Animal Talk, he had a similar group of 5. He said the weight of champions, 97 kilograms, the high schoolers, Spencer Lee, and then he has for his number 4, Zahid as a legitimate title threat. And I think that's a great one. I think Zahid Valencia is someone that, if you ask around, they feel like he has really come into his own this last year since moving to Oklahoma State. And his results speak for itself. Very dominant, has not lost since moving to Stillwater. I think there's a great chance that he can win a world title. He's got to get past Gaziantep of Iran. If he can beat him, there's no one else that is really as credentialed as Gaziantep. So I feel like he can do it. That's a good one from Animal Talk, who's on his way to Zagreb. That's awesome. Shout out. Maybe I'll run into you there. Joe Gilpin, can Spencer Lee win Worlds? Is number one with a bullet for me. I think that's true for a lot of people. Sadulayev returning and becoming the GOAT. Maybe, maybe not. Says that's from the Deadly Gopnik. He's got to get in the country. Some of these aren't really questions. One guy just goes, PJ Duke. We are. Good question. I hope he does it. Can the high schoolers win? From Cognac J, Spencer Lee's first world title run and Snyder's redemption arc. Everyone knows kind of what Kyle went through, getting arrested, and now can he come out on the other side of it and win another medal? That's a big question. And Zahid not tripping. You know, his whole thing's don't trip. So Zahid not tripping, one of his questions. All right, those are the questions. Let's go to Instagram real quick for the next set. All right, from Instagram, Wyatt Hendrickson versus Zare. That's a great one. How can Wyatt fare against Amir Zare, who's one of the more dominant wrestlers in the world? He only does a few things, but he does them about as well as we've seen. And for Wyatt Hendrickson, he's going to have to wrestle a perfect match to beat someone like Amir Zare. Another one for 97 kilograms. Another one for Spencer Lee. Another 97. You guys are really excited about 97, as am I. Will Japan perform as well as they did at the Olympics, and will Lee win a world title? That's from Pop Box Shoe Top. Great questions. My only thoughts are that I hope all three squads are very successful. I'm with you. Any other ones before we go? Someone says Sadulayev denied ability to compete again. We'll see if that ends up being the case. And the final question, how will Team USA's World Team First Timers perform? Now, if you don't know, there's a lot of new faces on the mat for Team USA across all three styles, but 7 first-time team members out of 10. That's a lot of fresh faces. Can they take the mantle and continue what the previous generation had done with Burroughs and Dake and David Taylor and on and on and on? That's the big question. That's what we're wondering. That's what I can't wait to find out. September 13th through 21st, Zagreb, Croatia. You can watch every single match live on FloWrestling. I'll be there along with a bunch of my teammates working hard. Let me know what you're most excited about for these World Championships.